what I want to do? Of course I did this right as I started the stream. Is there a button? Is there a button which will allow me to quick mute my microphone in OBS? Hotkeys. Aha. I see you. Number plus. Number minus. Apply. Does this work? It does. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Now I watched my previous stream, and every time I vaped, I wanted to throw my monitor out the window. Every time I did this thing, I was so mad at myself. Still a little bit sick. Yeah, every time I did that, I was like, this is just unacceptable. Let me see if I can actually... I know I'm going to fuck this up if I... Okay. So if I hit plus, it unmutes it. Great. Cool. So it's like a true false situation over here. Okay. So I don't even want to show you the screen yet. I want to be perfectly clear before I start. If you have, you should buy this game. You should buy Inscryption, and you should play it. Does that make sense? Everybody clear on that? Game is brilliant. It is so good. And this is spoilers only because I'm playing the game. And I mean it when I say it. Like, spoilers have never been something that have bothered me before. Like, it didn't matter to me that I had key moments spoiled in Game of Thrones. It didn't matter to me that I had key moments spoiled for me in various games and various films and shows and stuff. That's never mattered. And the reason why is because, just so we're clear, Vanderjager Games is a specific channel devoted to narrative content in the gaming medium, right? And one of the things I've said forever, way back to when I was doing this with Neophyte Studios rather than my own thing, was that a well-told story can't be spoiled, right? Everybody knows the ending to Oedipus Rex. If you've been in school, you know, if you've been through the education system in a first world country, you probably have read Oedipus Rex and you know the ending, right? It does not change the impact of the ending. When you go watch the play again or read the play again, and you get to the part where Oedipus finds out the ultimate truth about what is called the anagnorisis in storytelling. When Oedipus Rex discovers the anagnorisis of the narrative, you still discover the anagnorisis in the same way. You still go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He's sleeping with his mom, right? So all of this is to say, it is the case that spoilers don't bother me. But this game it's not necessarily spoilers. I'm saying spoilers because spoilers is kind of a universal term for things that could happen that could ruin the experience of the game. And so while I don't think that the story is being spoiled, I think that there's something else going on here, which is that this game is full of surprises. And they're surprises that recontextualize the elements of gameplay, which would probably otherwise influence the way you play it. Hopefully that makes sense. It would change the way you view the gameplay. Because these surprises are very important to the way you play it. So, with all of that said, if you have completed this game, I would say yes, you should watch this. If you have not played this game, I would say it's on sale right now. You should go buy it and play it. But I would also say if you have just absolutely no interest, like you looked at the Steam page and you were like, that is not for me. Then number one, I don't know why you're watching this. Number two, well, maybe you can study the game with me, because I think this game is worthy of study. If that all gels with you, then good. But yeah, that's everything that I would say about this before we get going. This game is so good. It is absolutely my game of the year. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get back to playing Inscryption. So last time I played this game, I was in Act 1, and I was a little bunny who didn't know just what he was getting himself into. I think I need to turn the game up just a little bit. So I'm gonna turn the game up just a titch. Okay. I didn't quite know the directions that this game was going, which is partially the reason why I think I'm so adamant about going into this game blind. Because it's just really the way that I experienced it, like having played the game and having experienced the game in the way that I did, I feel like it's the way that you're supposed to experience the game. Like it feels very, like when you go and watch, I don't know, Uncharted or whatever, it doesn't feel like it's necessarily a requirement to have not seen any gameplay of that game in order to go play it. This game, it feels like it actually is. It's important to the structure of the game. So going in blind is important. I went in blind. I had no idea that I was going to get just sideswiped by this game. Hello, Jaden Mayer. And Rinzai, hi, nice goatee. Thanks for all your help this year. I'm starting to feel better, so I'll show up for more of these. Good. I'm glad you're starting to feel better. Yeah. I mean, that's what WJG is supposed to be for, right? It's a congregation of weirdos who decided that they needed to express themselves through game mechanics, even though most of us can't even go beyond Twine. Yeah. Yep. So buckle up, because if you don't have Beyond the Twine, the sequel, because if you don't have any experience with Inscryption, it's gonna throw you for a loop, my friends. This game is wild in the best way. I want to play all of this dude's games now. Last night I bought his 2 other games, but I would also like to just throw out a quick plug for him. Daniel Mullins Games, you can find him on itch. He cites game jams as like a really influential thing for him, and how he's come up with a lot of his best ideas. So if you search for Daniel Mullins, you'll find him on itch, and you can play all of his game jam games for free. I saw an early version of Inscryption. I saw his other game, Pony Island. Lots of really interesting mechanics and some really interesting ways. I'm going to have to go and play them all so that we can talk about them. But there's some really interesting narrative ideas through ludic text. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually start playing this with all of that shit out of the way. Okay, last chance. If you haven't bought this game and played it all the way through. Narrative ideas and ludic text are terrifying. Ludic text, people love to talk about ludonarrative dissonance, and like I like to throw that word out there because I know that it annoys people. But I actually think ludic text is, I don't know if I've ever heard that term before, and I think it's actually pretty good. Ludonarrative dissonance, yeah. But ludic text is like, all I'm really trying to say is the story which arises from gameplay, right? Ludonarrative dissonance is like kind of an annoying thing where it's like you shouldn't have shot that many people because you're just a guy kind of thing. Which I do think that there is something to be said about it. I don't think that it's like, I don't think ludonarrative dissonance is generally like always wrong. And I don't think that I just think that it's not being, I just don't think it's being genuinely utilized to improve a game. I think it's being, right now, ludonarrative dissonance as a phrase, as it's being used, is to basically just say that action games are stupid, which I think is dumb. I think that's a dumb thing to say. I think that if ludonarrative dissonance was given to the right person as a concept and they could use it, I think we could actually make strides in talking about how to improve pacing in games, not narrative games, just in games. Maybe just take the dissonance off and change ludonarrative to something else, like ludonarrative problems or whatever. But I don't think that it is a universally incorrect thing to say a game has ludonarrative dissonance. I just think that there is probably a more interesting way to talk about it than how it's being utilized currently. Ludic text, however, I think ludic text is actually really cool. Okay, last chance. Go buy this game, go play it. Okay. All right. Okay, the audio is good. We'll play Empty Vessel. So this is a card game, obviously. And the rules are very fascinating. And I'm in Act 3 now. Oh, whoa. Why did my mic peak like that? I'm in Act 3 now. So the gameplay has once again completely flipped. And has become super surprising. Do you trust in the heart of the cards? Some would say yes. And I am going to die. What does this do again? I have to draw first. What are you? Oops. Oh, I just fucked up. I just fucked up so bad. Okay, who's doing the most damage? Oh my god, I just fucked up so much. Okay, so I took 1 damage, and I now should be at full energy. I'll rant later forever about how game developers try to tack a story on a posteriori rather than building one from the ground up. Yes. I think that's kind of like... I peeked my mic again, 1 second. This is annoying me. I hate peeking my microphone. Let's go down to like... Okay, I think that should be good. Yes, so I think that that's actually kind of what I was trying to say, actually, is like the ludonarrative dissonance isn't so much a problem with the guy, with a game killing people, right? If that's the primary interactive mode with the game to kill people, which I think is what a lot of people use ludonarrative dissonance to describe. They use it to say, you killed too many people in this game, right? Which I think is a kind of a stupid thing to say. Or it's at least an ill-informed thing to say. Whereas if you were to, like you say, build the game, if the game and the story were built together at the same time, then it would make more sense, right? Everybody talks about the Uncharted series as having ludonarrative dissonance. Nobody talks about the Uncharted series having, or nobody talks about the Last of Us series having ludonarrative dissonance, right? Those two things, they're the same developer. They're roughly the same game. They roughly have the same mechanic, the same mode. It's just that one was built with this, it feels like anyway, one was built with the story at the same time as the gameplay, and one wasn't. One was, let's make an Indiana Jones game where you shoot people, and the other one was, let's set it in a world of apocalypse, and half the enemies are going to be vicious survivors, and the other half are going to be these monsters, right? And nobody complains about ludonarrative dissonance in the second game. Let's see. Madatsuki kills people with a knife, but that's just who she is if you want her to be that way. I'm not sure who Madatsuki is. I feel that classic Naughty Dog had better stories. Weirdly enough, Jack and Daxter's great. But like, I mean, stories aside, the point that I'm trying to make is that the game considered its mechanics and its story at the same time, right? Whereas I feel like many games of old, particularly early 2000s, they just didn't feel that way, right? It didn't feel like it felt like many games, especially the kind of blockbustery type games, just didn't have that, just didn't seem to have those considerations in mind, right? Matto is from Yume Nikki. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Anyway, so I've got to figure out how to not die. See, now would have been a really good time to use my battery that I used. Okay. So, you concede? Oh, I absolutely accept surrender. I was in a lot of trouble. That's amazing. I also think it's just so interesting that this game has a concede mechanic. You see, the industry insiders I've talked to deliberately ignore story until the last opportunity, and it's a major problem and a big prejudice among the elites. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think that this is super uncommon. Like, writing is often considered to be one of the last things when it comes to a multifaceted project. So, for example, I was a technical writer for the Air Force for about 7 years. It was actually my first, like one of my very first jobs, and I wrote technical manuals for the software. And one of the things I found really interesting was that the software and the hardware and all that stuff, that would be in development for like literally 2 years. And then it would come down to the last 2 months of the project before it had to be delivered. And they were like, by the way, I need a book. I need a technical manual. I need you to write it. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting that we had 2 years to discuss how we were going to write this book together. And I've talked to other, I mean, this isn't just the Air Force. I've talked to many firms. There's another firm I was just talking to not too long ago about writing a book for them. And the project's been in development for like, I don't even know, 10 years or something. And they're like, yeah, nobody wants to write the book. Nobody wants to write it. And so we just haven't yet. It's like, you haven't written the fucking book yet. So yeah, I mean, as far as technical writing goes, that's very common, and I'm sure that it's the same with the game. People just don't like to write, is the thing. In general, a lot of people don't really like writing, especially when you chose your career path a long time ago to be numbers and programming languages and right. Like I've worked with a lot of software engineers, and the last thing that they want to do is write an email. Meanwhile, for me, I love writing emails. But yeah, so it makes sense. They're mostly programmers who build games up from the mechanics, but I think that mechanics are best for getting emotional impacts. They don't exactly. I mean, that's exactly what I mean by ludic text, right? Ludic text is deriving an emotional impact from a game mechanic. They don't read much either, in reference to developers. Yeah. Game developers, : everyone and his mother wants to write. Me? What did you write? Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion. Oh, I'm not going that way. I've got to get to the boss. I got my gold back, which is kind of an interesting reference to a Dark Souls mechanic, right? Like dropping your souls when you die. But that's only in Act 3. Oh, and once again, for those of you for the first time watching this, I'm in Act 3 of the game. And I cannot express to you how different Act 2 is. It doesn't look literally anything like this. Literally nothing like this. Who is new here? As in terms of like new viewers on Twitch, I have no idea. But a lot of the time when I say that, I'm also talking to potential people on YouTube. So I don't even know how many people are watching. I just act like there's 1,000 people watching at all times. I have to. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to make the YouTube video look like I have any viewers on Twitch. So I just pretend. That there's 1,000 people watching me. So for those of you who have not played Inscryption, for the 900 of you who are watching who haven't played Inscryption, Act 1 looks completely different to this. Act 2 looks literally in a different universe to this game, and Act 3 is what we're playing right now. 1 second, I got to try my new mute function. Check that out. Pretty sick. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is turn 1 empty vessel, let it eat the 3 damage from the alarm bot, and then I'll smash that later. So it's dead. And then I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to play energy bot here because it'll be a 1/1 because this gives this a 1. Explode bot, and then yeah, I think that'll be good. I mean, there's literally nothing else I can do, so it has to be good. Okay, so now what I'm hoping I can do is I would really like to draw sniper off the top. Wow, sniper off the top. And then I will smash bridge rails and I will put sniper bot here. Because what I'm... all viewers equals new names. Yeah. So what I'm hoping to do at this turn is I'll just eat the 1 damage from the explode bot, let the double gunner come in. He'll do 2 damage here and no damage here. I will use the sniper. I'm going to hide the sniper here so it can't be killed. And I'm going to shoot the explode bot, which will kill the double gunner. I like that this game, which is... the narrative is good. It's very interesting. But I like that this game is something that you can get good at. Like, the mechanics are actually deep enough that it allows for creativity, which is something that really surprised me about it. Like, the creativity of this game is astounding. It's like... I mean, it obviously doesn't have the deck building creativity of Magic, but it has the, like, moment-to-moment creativity that I love. So I'm just going to do the 1 damage here. I'm going to take a bunch of damage. I'm going to draw this sentry drone. Sentry drone's actually... well, now I have to play something first. I'm going to play sentry drone here so that it doesn't die. And then I'm going to use sniper bot to shoot explode bot, which will kill double gunner. And then I can play my own double gunner. Oh man, okay, I think I actually gotta kill sentry drone, because it's going to shoot swap bot, and I don't want swap bot to be shot. I want swap bot to stay as a 1/5 for as long as I can. And yeah, because it turns into like a 1/5 or a 5/1. I mean, oh, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Okay, I think I'll just take the 1. Yeah, okay, we're good. I'll be back. Rinzai needs coffee. Okay. Items 100% recharged. Bot spawners 100% offline. Okay, so I want to take a moment to analyze something real quick that I think is really interesting. So, one of the things I find very, very interesting about this game, and I wonder if I just need to do a full video where I just analyze it in its completion, like not even play it, just kind of analyze it. But one of the things I found really interesting was in Act 1, the game feels very polished. And the reason why the game feels very polished is because it feels like the opponent is very good at making a game for you, right? Because that's ultimately the conceit of the narrative, is that there's a guy sitting across the table from you who is effectively forcing you to play a card game to live, right? He's like a crazy murderous hobo living in the woods, and he forces you to play a card game so as to stay alive. And his game feels very polished and well constructed and smart, intelligently designed, right? And then, spoiler, you find out that one of the cards that you have is actually a captured character who you are now playing the game of in Act 3. You're now playing effectively the same card game, kind of. The rules have changed a little bit. But now the captured card has been released, and he is now the game master, as it were. And he isn't as good. And I think that's by design. Like, I think that this robot character he's not as good of a game designer as the first one. And I don't know exactly what that says, but it seems like it is something that is important. Because like, Yeah, see? You know what I mean? Where's Rinzai? He has to see this. Rinzai! Where are you? 1 second. Look at that. Nobody had to hear it. Okay. So 3 of them are right. Interesting. Now, wait a second. Oh. Literally none of them are in the right place. The hell? This was 2 before, right? Ah, what is off? Man, I am like stumped on this one. I honestly have no idea. Is it just this? No. So this has to be up here. Wait. 3 of 5. 3 of 5. 4 of 5. So this is in the right place. 3 of 5. What if it was... Man, what the fuck? So this is 4 of 5, and this is 3 of 5. And this is also 405. Huh. 105. Excuse me, sorry. Dude. I know what these are. I know what they mean. Like, this is negate 1 damage. This is deal, like, 10 damage to neighbors. So, 1 damage. So this kills this. This. And this. This kills this, which does this, which makes it so that this dies. So the one, man, that's crazy. What? How does it go from 4 out of 5 to 0 out of 5? It's crazy. The sequencing of this game is very interesting, like how it always goes from left to right. Because this kills this, which does 10 damage. This negates it. I can't remember if it negates 1 instance of the damage. We're going to return to this in a minute. I feel like maybe I just need to actually... Well, wait, what? One second, I gotta text my wife. She just found out some stuff about a job, so. Okay. What? Mrs. Bomb's remote. Extra battery, clinger. Oh yeah, I wanted to know what this did actually. When one of your creatures is placed in a space, a card bearing the sigil will move towards them as far as possible. What I wanted to see was the 1 shield symbol. There we go. The first time a card bearing the sigil would take damage, prevent it. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much damage it is. It prevents 1 instance of damage, right? So if this is killing this, then this does 10 damage to this. It gets negated. This kills this. This does 2 damage to this. This dies. This deals 1 damage to this, which does its 10 damage to this. This is already dead at this point, so this does its 10 damage to this. It gets negated. It does 10 damage to this, which does 4 damage. The only thing I can think of is that it's supposed to be like that, but... Mrs. Bomb's remote. Seems pretty good. I can't believe this game is still going. Like, I thought I was done. It looked extremely okay, Rinzai. It looked extremely okay. Like, I saw clips and footage of it, and I was like, that looks like a 5. I'm not gonna try and attempt this one right now. We're talking about Cowboy Bebop, by the way, for the YouTube viewers. The new live action Cowboy Bebop. It looked like a show. What was I gonna say? It was a show. Yeah. Camera's watching me. Now I gotta select all squares that contain cards. Is this some kind of like joke? Interesting. Fishbot. What the fuck? What the hell is this thing? Did you say Fishbot? Yeah. Okay, I brought him the battery. What the fuck? Oh, it's a fast travel point. Yeah, I don't want to fast travel anywhere else. This is currently where I am. Revolting. Yeah, sorry that you have to see this. It's the last area in Botopia that still has life in it. That stinking, squirming mass of imperfection. What is this? This generator is about to explode or something. You have to recharge it before that happens. It's a race against the clock, you'll see. I'm coming clean. I've been dividing time between you and a stream of Sea of Thieves. Dividing attention. That's all right. It's fine. You you can watch whatever you want. I am streaming this because I'm playing it anyway. What is this? Huh. Weird. My worry, well, I don't know how these work yet, so we'll just do this now. Because there's kind of nothing we can do. When my face says 0, you lose. Okay, so one of the things I definitely need to do, I'm assuming, is as quickly as I can try and get the bifurcated bot down. So I just need to keep drawing double gunner. Oh, I can't even play double gunner, so it doesn't matter. But I can get this down. I am bait. Three. Jesus. I know I'm running out of time. Thank you. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Two. I think I'm at full battery. No, I'm not. Yeah, there's very likely no way. So I'm going to smash empty vessel. I don't know why I did that. There's kind of no point. One. Okay, so how much damage do I need to do? Because now I'm at full capacity. Which is why I didn't play shield bot here, because this will do twice the damage. If I don't. I need to do 4 damage? Okay, then it doesn't matter. We win. I love it when games... I love it when games give you obnoxious alarm sounds to stress the importance of urgency. I mean, to be fair, this is the first time this game has done this. And second, it's not that annoying. It could have been way more annoying. I would argue, by the way, that one of the most annoying sounds in gaming history is in Control. When there's like a guy who's muffled and screaming into like through a loudspeaker while you're walking through this level that is just awful to navigate. And he is screaming. It was so stressful that I just uninstalled it. That sound was so stressful to me that I just uninstalled the game and I returned it. And Control is supposed to be like a really good game, but I could not handle that. I couldn't do it. Because I was so mad at the game for making me feel so shitty. It was such a weird thing. If I could clap for you, I would. Well, now that I know that these are actually characters in the world, I kind of don't want to give them extra powers because these guys are all kind of evil motherfuckers, but I think it still technically is my best card because it's a 1/3. Probably the Bifurcation. Bifurcation is just really strong. Sounds are yet another thing to consider. Game developers tend to put it off right after writing. A rare card. At the beginning of your turn, a card bearing the sigil will transform to or from beast mode. I don't know what beast mode is. But I need cheaper cards, so I'll probably take that one. Well, let's just prevent some early damage. I don't know why those trees are there yet, so I'm not going to destroy them. I now know why those trees are there. Okay. Because of this bolt hound. Beast friends forever. So the bolt hound is not going to be able to jump on these trees, which means that I have a good spot to put my double gunner by destroying one of my trees. And I would think I will begin by doing that now. Right after I draw a card. Okay, so I got my own bolt hound. So I'm going to go smash. And then I'm going to play... What? I can't? Oh. Oh, that's unfortunate. Whatever. I'll just get Energy Bot killed. Yeah, that's fine. And then I will play... Yeah, I'll draw a card. And then I will play Fishbot. And probably just pass the turn here. I should have played Fishbot here, but then again, it could be better since we're almost a gunner. his thing is a shark. Boy, that's a shitload of damage. Okay. Do I have anything that does 2 that I can afford? No? Well, then I'll probably just play Sniper Bot to take a block. Because Fish Bot's going to kill these 2, which is good. Pop, pop. And you shoot that. Oh, I died. Shit. Says he. I went this way, right? Yeah. If I had just played that better, I think it would have been fine. I just fucked up. Damn it. Oh boy. Interesting. The thing that's been quite annoying about this particular deck is that it doesn't have any, like, it has hardly any creatures that do 2 damage. It's almost all 1 damage. So maybe I can try and sack the Ancient Fur to play Sonya here. And then I'm out of energy, so... I'm hoping that Sonya will turn into something good. Wasn't as good as I'd hoped. I am definitely going to lose this. I mean, I could use the bomb, but do I really want to do that? So another problem with stories in games is that people in the industry think you need to earn the right to have a vision. So lots of the stories are not about anything, though there are countless things to write about. Can you elaborate on... Oh, shit, I didn't realize my camera was so fucked up. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I think I agree, but I don't know if I fully understand what you're saying. You'll elaborate later? Okay. So I'm going to play that here. And then I'm going to play... Oh, I should have played it somewhere else. That was dumb. I should have played this... I should have played this here and then this here. Because now I can't kill it. I can't really do anything. And I'm going to have to kill this next turn. Yeah, this was not the best idea. Yeah, I'll draw one. It's a long story? Okay. The short of it, if the only people who get to lead a project are just programmers with a few good prototypes, you won't get lots of good ideas. Yeah, okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So basically, like, you've the only people who get to have creative direction on something are those who've been, in the trenches for a while, kind of thing. And so not a lot of new ideas are coming in because the people who cut their teeth, in the trenches of game development are using basically what they learned to keep their studio going, kind of thing. And yeah, I think I agree. I mean, I don't know because I haven't worked in the industry, but I think I agree in the sense that but I think that goes for every industry. Like the people who get to be creative directors are always the ones who have experience. And then you have you just have weird outliers, right? Like Miyazaki, who didn't work in the game industry, and then he basically was like, I'm gonna learn coding, and then he learns coding and he does these random odd jobs for people at From Software, like early long time ago From Software. And he just does random just coder jobs for From Software for their games. And meanwhile he's just looking for his opportunity. He's looking for his opportunity. And finally there was this game that they were working on. It was a fantasy RPG game, and they wasn't going anywhere, and they didn't know what to do with it. And Miyazaki was like, "Look, let me do it, please, 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 just let me do this. Let me do this game, or let me try, right?" And he tries, and now we have From Software as we know them today. Okay, so I think I might just sack. So one thing I think I can do, well, I'm trying to figure out the sequencing because I have a battery, so I can play Double Gunner and Swap Bot this turn. And I'm thinking if I can play Swap Bot or Double Gunner, I can kill this, use Sniper Bot to shoot this so that it will kill both of them, but then Swap Bot doesn't take the extra. Well, no, Swap Bot can take the damage. This is the play. This is definitely the play. So we play Double Gunner, eat battery, play Swap Bot here, and then we pass turn. Don't you die on me. Okay. So if Fishbot can play. Bop, 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 bop. Ha, that was genius. Damn it. I'm gonna play Bolt Hound here because Fishbot's gonna kill Explode Bot, which would technically kill whatever's in front of it. Nice. I can't believe how different this game feels from Act 1 version of it. Nor do they like to listen to gamers who complain that their stories are no good. I think this is kind of an interesting problem that the game industry has had forever. Is that you have non-storytellers who are basically, I would contend they are working in a storytelling medium, right? I mean, this goes back to what I've been saying forever, is that I think everything narrative is a game. I think there's a Ludo narrative scale, right? Where there's the really far Ludo side, which is gameplay, and there's the really far narrative side, which is story, but they're on the same scale. And so, like, if 1 being Ludo and 10 being narrative, a novel is like a 10, right? It's very narrative, but it is a game. And a choose your own adventure novel, where it's still printed in a book, is like an 8. Right? There's a little bit more. Because the thing that people don't realize is that books were not originally meant to be read from left to right. Right? English, like Western novels, or Western pages that were glued together, that was not something that you were meant to be reading from beginning to end. Right? It was a random access device. It was open your book to any page and read something, because it was a collection of knowledge. It was not a linear path through it. That was not the point of a book. It was think of it like how the Bible works, right? I don't know any Bible verses, but I understand them. Like, go to Matthew 10 or whatever, and people go to Matthew 10 because it's a random access device. If you think of a book in a device, as which I do, that's what it is. It's effectively like a game, a toy, right? It's an interactable thing. And then you have like the other scale, the other side, like football, right? Being like a 1 or a 2 or a 3. Football is a narrative. It's just that it tells its story differently, right? And so, yeah, like, what was this in response to? Oh, do they like to listen to gamers who complain that their stories are no good? So it's, on the one hand, you have this industry that doesn't realize that it's a storytelling medium. And then you have the other half, which is that they do realize it's a storytelling medium, but they're so insecure about it that they end up not doing either very good, right? They don't tell a good story, nor do they make a good game. And then there's like this 1%, 2%, 3% of people who get it, and they understand that there is a good way to make a game story, right? A game doesn't have to be a novel, nor does a novel have to be Tetris, right? But there are varying ways to do it. Yes, Yoko Taro percent. in some things. Did you play his new game, Voice of Cards? Because I played it and I don't like it. Like, it's weird, but I don't. It is, I don't know if it's necessarily bad, but I don't like it. Like, it feels very gimmicky. Like, everybody was like, oh man, did you see Yoko Taro's new game? It's so innovative. It's a game, it's a card game, but everything is cards. The menu is cards. The gameplay is cards. The options are cards. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's almost like it's Noko Tano. Like, it's because I respect him a lot. I think he's a brilliant game designer, and you know, I love his stuff. I just like that one. I just was really not. It was almost like it wasn't even a Yoko Taro game. It was like Quentin Tarantino's involvement in Sin City. Sorry. But yeah, so the there's a few people who get it. I would purport Tynan Sylvester gets it. I would purport that Daniel Mullins gets it. I would purport that the developer of Depression Quest gets it in a way. That there is an element to, there's this X factor in a game narrative, in a game story, right? That can't be achieved in other medium. But it has to be, the only way that you're going to be able to do it is if you consider the game to be a story, right? You have to consider the game itself to be a story. Not a story that is in the game. The game isn't a bowl that you put things in, right? The game it's not a bowl that you put a story in and you put sound in and you put graphics in. And you can put various elements. The game is the story, right? I am with you 120%. I'm glad you are. This here gold, I were just about to mine it. Guess all I needed were a kick in the pants. One of your cards is about to gain an alter ego as a beast, and you get to choose which card and which beast. It's not that complicated. Yeah, I was gonna choose you. What do we have? Which beast will live within your bot? Pizza time BRB, okay. Which beast will live within your bot? The bird, the snake, the wolf. I was kind of hoping I could do a fish. I think... Yes. If it turns into a 3/3, that'd be crazy. Not what I would have picked. Well, you're not about to beat this game, my friend. Man, what the fuck is going on? This is so... I feel like I'm lost all of a sudden. I guess we'll go this way. One sec, I should Pikachu's. To be lost in a game is to be very precise about your place in the universe. I think that's, yeah, I would say that that's pretty, it's just being very present, right? Like you can have that happen when you're reading a novel where you're so present in the story that you don't really consider anything else. I think that the same can be either the same or enhanced in a game. Like there have been times when I was playing RimWorld where nothing in the world was existing other than what was happening in RimWorld. It was that compelling. Same with the Factorio. I mean, people talk about this all the time. The effect of the time vampire effect with games, where it's like you start playing and then 10 minutes later it's 2 o'clock in the morning, kind of thing. You felt that with Nier Automata? Yeah. Nier Automata would definitely be one of those types of games. I've always found it to be the very meditative games like Factorio, RimWorld. I haven't felt it so much with this game, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like in this game, everything I do is constantly swelling, right? It's always swelling to like this new thing of knowledge, a new surprise, a new climax. Like, I don't know what it is about this game, but it just makes me feel that way. Why did that already happen? Man, I am done. Or like Magic is another one. Okay, I'm going to play Empty Vessel and I'm going to play Fishbot here. Empty Vessel because it's going to eat the 4 damage from Grizz next turn. Fishbot because it's going to hopefully deal some damage to both of them. Yumaniki gets me engaged, as do older games like Spyro the Dragon and Jak and Daxter. Yeah, you talk about those games all the time. I'm actually kind of curious what you find so engaging about them. Because, like, I was an Xbox kid when I was growing up. Like, I didn't have a PlayStation. So, and the Jak and Daxter and Spyro the Dragon, if I remember correctly, were PlayStation games. So I never really got to play those. And I've always been, like, I've seen them played. I've seen countless videos of those games, right? I understand them, but, like, to me, they just kind of looked like 3D platformers. So I'm curious as to what exactly is so compelling about them. I could lecture on them, but I'll tell you later. Okay, sounds good. I don't necessarily, by the way, I'm not meaning to say that just 3D platformer to be derogatory. I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Anyways, let's do Sonya, and then we'll just pass turn. Because Fishbot will kill Grizz. That's highly unfortunate. Fuck. I guess the question is, can I just do enough damage to end this game now? By playing Double Gunner here? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Beautiful. 1 second. Sorry, texting wife. Okay. I don't mean he didn't keep a clean cabin, it was his plays. He'd make misplays left and right, cared more about lore and flavor. You get it right. Perfect strategy is all that matters in a card game. See, this is so interesting. I feel like this dude just understands every concept of card games and has made characters to represent the different aspects of card games, and it's so goddamn brilliant. It's so brilliant. Nobody has ever done anything like this before. Where he's like distilling Timmy, Johnny, and Spike, and he's turning them into characters, and it's also like a compelling, weird, like fantasy story, and it's so I think Grizz is good. I'm not the trader or anything, but there's going to be a little give and take here. You'll have to trade one of these cards for one of these. You'll have to trade one of your cards for one of these. I don't think I mind trading Sonya. Or maybe I do want an Explode Bot. What could I give him? I have found Sentry Drone to actually be more of a hindrance. Like, I never want to play it. So, we'll see. Let's choose... Let's see what we can do with Double Gunner. Once again, I still just feel like it's a really good idea to maximize damage in as many places as possible. To guide literally just says fish. Okay, I'm gonna play Empty Vessel here. I know it's not gonna block the first 2 damage, but it'll block the 1. And then I'll play Energy Bot here and call it a day. Okay, and now I'm going to play that. I think I'm gonna die here. Yep. Fuck. It's so interesting to me that this game feels like it's not as good as Leshy's. I can't get over it. Like, I can't get over this idea that the game doesn't feel as good in an intentional way. Oh, do I need to... Like, I feel lost. I feel confused. I don't feel as though I am not as entertained, but I don't feel like the game is as good. Because this guy isn't as good of a game opponent. God, that's such a weird thing. Whoa, that was not what I was expecting to happen. I really need to, like, get some damage back. Well, he is definitely going here. I'm gonna put him here so we can double play. Okay, now I think it's just over. Yep. It is as I thought. Let's just take care of one of these for now. Smash Empty Vessel. And then shoot Sonya, deal 1 damage, get a little bit of damage back, take 2 damage from Sonya. Hopefully don't die. The pizza is, as I thought, slightly burnt. Okay. I don't know what I keep doing wrong in this one. think I went the wrong way. Also, why does this motherfucker start with full energy and I start with none? Okay, that was an interesting circumstance. So I wish I could double play here, but I can't. Let's see. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter where I put sniper. Though maybe I could pop energy bot down right here. Play 49er here. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting. So I guess insect drone. I'm not playing this well. Fuck, man. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Like, maybe I can do this, and then I can shoot this. That will kill it. He kills those two, do 1 damage, take 1 damage. Now I'm doing 6 damage. And now I'm going to play Bolt Hound here. Bang, bang. Okay. Whew. I see. So that was just like a quick detour, because now I gotta do this. I'm gonna try and save that damn batter, or that explosion thing. It doesn't really matter where I play the energy bot, because I'm going to have to destroy it, and it's not going to be able to, well, I guess it technically could block 1 attack from when Sonya transforms again. Yeah. So at this point, what I'm thinking is, like, could I just play... Because I just don't know if I'm going to be able to beat the Grizz creature. Like, I guess I could destroy energy bot. If I could double play, then yes. But I can't double play. I don't have enough energy. Well, I could use the battery. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is destroy energy bot, deploy fish bot, use battery, and then is it sniper bot or is it shield bot? Probably maybe I want to put shield bot here, actually. Get some of my damage back. Now, sequencing. This is good sequencing, because shield bot will destroy explode bot, which will kill Grizz. The thing about platformers is that they are so far removed from daily reality that that they simulate a special part of you wherein everything is possible. In terms of like movement, like freedom of movement kind of thing. Okay. I'm going to play Sniper Bot here. That kills Grizz, do a ton of damage, shoot Sonya. Win game. Immersion! Says Rinzai in the chat. Okay, we move on. We continue the exploration. We get the money back. God, I am just fascinated. Because the thing that I loved about Act 1 was the card game itself. I mean, I loved everything around the card game, don't get me wrong. I loved the horror element. I loved the visuals. Everything about it was so interesting and alluring and fascinating and scary. But the core card game was awesome. And this card game doesn't, it's still good. Like there's still a lot of thought and it's engaging and skill intensive, but it doesn't feel as good as Act 1 card game, which is so fascinating to me. Because this character has been released from being cursed inside a card. They've been stuck inside a card, they've been released, and now they're forcing me to play their card game. And that's so... what the fuck? You know what I mean? Saying that Rinzai says immersion breaks immersion, does it? Okay, so let's do this again. I've finally gotten here with Bomb. But now I need to figure out the opportune moment to play Bomb. Seriously, it might just be better to not play anything this turn so I can figure out what to do with Empty Vessel when he has more units down. I think I just play Empty Vessel now, here, and then pass turn. Okay, now it's critical moment. Yeah. Okay, so I think I play this here, and I play Explode Bot. Smash Empty Vessel. I play Explode Bot here. And then I use Bomb next turn. No, that's not gonna be it. Fucking hell, man. What am I doing wrong? Let's go this way real quick. So I need to make sure that the board is clear when Shield Latcher dies. That's what it sounds like. The thing that's kind of killing me, I think, in this game is that it... in this iteration of this card game, is that I am having a hell of a time with the new mana system. I loved the mana system in the first act, and the mana system in this one is just very different. You know what? We're gonna bomb now. Clear their board. They do 1 damage. That does 0 damage, right? Now... I just have too many expensive cards in the deck. But there's nothing I can do about it, which is interesting. A lot of those platformer games had an expansive world that was presented in parts, and the transition from one world to the next always refreshes the sense of novelty and exploration. Okay. And so what you liked about the Jack and Daxters and the Spyros and stuff was like the ever-changing circumstances of the player character, and that they gave you not a power fantasy, but a less annoying version of that word. Since you asked why. Yeah, I mean, I know I asked why. It's a big part of Taro's philosophy as well. Well, if I remember correctly, one of Taro's philosophies was writing his narrative. Full disclosure, I was mostly paying very close attention to the way he writes stories, and that was the thing that I was most focused on. So I probably missed a lot of his gameplay ideas, but his narrative discussion I thought was super interesting about writing the story backward, right? Capturing the moment that you want the entire story to be about, and then going backward from there, right? He also talks about having a small world that feels larger through limitation. Interesting. I actually don't remember that. It could have been in a different GDC talk, though. That is very possible. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to play Shieldbot here. Shieldbot will kill Shield Latcher. The question is can I just... maybe I'll play Explodebot, just to negate one of the 2 damage. So he'll take 1, which kills Shieldbot, but that's fine, I don't care. And then we're going to play... Grizz is a 0/4, which is kind of a problem here. Although Swapbot could do the work we need. Swapbot kills Double Gunner. And then we can play Grizz here. Pass turn, deal 1. Now we can play... See, once we get to this point, the game feels all but inevitable of our victory. Once we hit max mana, it's just playing beater after beater. Oh, I went too far. God, another one? This is relentless. So interesting. Act 1 did not feel this way. It did not feel like relentless gameplay, but this character, this robot character, says the only thing that matters is gameplay, whereas Leshy was more about flavor. This game, this feels constantly skill intensive, whereas in the first one it felt like I was being told a story. And that is so fucking interesting as a fan of card games, as a fan of Magic and all the major card games. I mean, I don't know if the Vonda Yahoo community knows much about this, but I play Magic almost every day. I mean, it is my favorite game. I love Magic the Gathering. I've been playing it since I was a kid. Yeah, it's a big part of what made these early platformer games work. Oh, in reference to the Yokotaro. Okay, yeah, I see. I have to guess red and black. Yeah. I mean, my absolute favorite three color pair is Jund, so black, red, green. Um, but but more often than not, I am playing red, black because Jund decks are not. Because the formats I play in, Jund is kind of hard to come by. You seem like a red black player. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Rakdos is definitely, yeah, it's definitely the my form of Magic. Jund is just kind of like Rakdos with extra steps. So green, red, black is like a is just is just red, black with extra steps, and I really like that about green, red, black. Um, but green, red, black is really hard to play in most formats because the mana is so hard. Whereas in Rakdos, you get to play like Diet Jund, but with slightly better mana. Um, I'm a blue-green player, as stated previously. You stated this previously. Did I miss it? I apologize. I am shocked that you're a blue-green player, honestly. Actually, am I shocked? I figured it would be more like blue-black, like Dimir. But, but blue-green does actually make sense. Mostly green. Huh. Big beaters. That's what you like to play, huh? You like to play, like, cost-efficient creatures. That's just not, like, Rinzai and big beaters, you know, like, that just doesn't really... Oh, yeah, elves. Okay. Elves makes sense. Elves makes more sense. I kind of forgot that archetype was in green. Elves can be tricky, but it is a bunch of 1/1s, right? Okay. This doesn't look good. I think what I'm going to do is just try and negate as much damage as possible, and then... Oh, I don't have bomb. Fuck. What do I do? That's a lot of damage coming through on turn 1. You love Baloths. Okay. Oh, they just die? Okay, that's not nearly as bad as I thought. Oh, I wish I could play Swap Bot. That would be nice. Well, Energy Bot is just going to die anyway, so I'll just... Oh, I thought Sentry Drone would shoot Sentry Drone would shoot Energy Bot. I can see why you said blue-black given my design style, though. Yeah, it just seems like you're more interested in the tricky, circumventing normal play patterns for victory kind of thing. Like, that's Dimir to a T, is circumventing normal play pattern. I mean, blue in general, but... You can do, yeah. I mean, green I think is actually underrated quite a bit in terms of its skill intensiveness. I actually think green and red are really, really difficult colors to play, even though everybody says they're just dumb colors where you turn things sideways, and it's not true. It's ridiculously hard to play an aggro deck. People think that aggro decks are easy. They are not easy. I would say that they are just as hard to play as a control deck. There's just they're difficult on a different axis, right? First deck was green red. I love green red. Gruul. I love Gruul decks. I love them. All they need is black, and then they're perfect. Gruul is so much better when it has black. But I do love mono green too. I mean, I've been trying to get mono green to work forever. In the particular format I'm playing in on Magic Arena. And I mean, I can't do it. No matter how hard I try, I can't seem to do it. Well, I don't want to lose Sonya. And I'm not taking any damage, so I don't think it really matters. Okay. We all hate on white. I think everybody hates on white, but I'm starting to come around to the idea of white, probably because the white color pie is starting to change. Like, they've added some new cards to white that are unbelievable. Like, one of the decks I've been playing recently is like a Boros, which is red-white. Boros, a red-white Madness deck, which is heavily focused on draw discard. And I love that deck. And you can't play that deck without the white, I think. Like, a lot of people are playing it in... The thing that's weird is I really like using white in the way that white doesn't want to be played. Like, white is an amazing color to use if you're not trying to do white deck things, right? Like, white decks are most often either life gain or playing a bunch of small things to do a lot of damage. And those two play patterns are not... I don't particularly like those two play patterns, but I love using white as like an alternative access in a red deck. Right? So like in my Boros Madness deck, Mono Red Madness is a really popular archetype. And Mono Red Madness is good because it's really consistent in the way that it can draw and discard. And it can, play creatures down, and it can do a lot of damage very quickly. But the thing that I love about using white in this is that I can punish people for attempting to fight my red deck like it's a red deck because of my white cards. I can tax them. I can gain life off of the things that they do against me, right? I can draw cards. And that's why I think white is such an interesting color to have in the game, and can be one of the most devastating colors once it reaches a critical mass of really good, like, cheap creatures. Sneaking in white cards, yeah. I do that with black as well, yeah. I did not know that you were such a Magic player. That's good to know. Okay. I don't want to lose Sonya, but I also am like... We're not on parity when it comes to energy, which is highly unfortunate. So, not what I wanted. I haven't played for a while. Okay. I think everybody kind of goes through the various phases with Magic. I'm going to just play Sonya here just to spend mana. I haven't played due to quarantine. Yeah, I mean, I've mostly played during... Oh, shit, that's not what I meant to do. I mostly played Magic digitally anyway. I mean, I love paper Magic, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a Magic deck. Like right here, it's a burn deck that I'm planning to turn into red-white burn, but modern red-white burn. But Magic Arena, even though it's like pretty predatory in the way that it monetizes, if you know what you like to play, you can do it very cheaply on Arena. If you know what you like to play and you don't want to play anything else, you can do that pretty cheaply on Arena. I still don't know what this symbol means. Whoa. I saw you, bitch. A returning character. I saw him. Where did he go? Is there tubes in here? I wish I could figure out what you do. Oh shit, I clicked the wrong fucking thing. God damn it. Oh well. Empty vessel. I think I'm not using the empty vessels enough. Because you have this huge deck of empty vessels and it doesn't seem like there's any function for them other than blockers, but the whole point of this deck, as I'm now starting to understand, is that you're literally just trying to stay alive until you can get to full mana, and then you can start putting down big beaters. What a way to spend a Monday morning after midnight. This feels spooky. This game or what? Of course, I still can't play Double Gunner. I can't play anything at all. Though I suppose... no. I think what I'll do is just lose Sonya, shoot that. He gives that something for some reason. Sonya dies here. Please don't die. Cool. Now... how can I sequence this so that I can do a little bit of damage? Because I'm gonna kill Double Gunner and I'm gonna kill Double Gunner through Explode Bot. I'm gonna lose Explode Bot or Bolt Hound. In order to do that, I'm gonna recharge my energy. Double Gunner could do 2 damage and that's it. And then he doesn't get to do any more damage for the rest of the time. Or, okay, so I play Bolt Hound here, recharge energy, play Double Gunner here. Well, that was a huge mistake. Fuck me. This game is fucking hard. This act is, the mechanics are such a trip. Okay, I think I just win now. Cool. What does this do? After attacking, a card bearing the sigil perishes. Doesn't seem very good. Oh, but I forgot the point that I wanted to say about Act 1. I think one of the reasons why I loved Act 1 so much was because the play patterns are actually very similar to a red-black deck in Magic. Like, it actually felt like I was playing Rakdos decks in Act 1. It was super interesting. Okay. So I'll just block one of the skeleton attacks, I guess. But the thing that's like weird and kind of confusing and frustrating about this particular act is like, if you don't start with a pretty decent hand, it's hard to tell when you're supposed to draw. Okay. When you're supposed to draw cards from your deck versus cards from your mana deck. Also, mana is just very different in this game. Like, there is not, I mean, in this act, this version of the game, because in Act 1, your mana was squirrels that you had to sacrifice in order to play the things. And there was a lot of stuff that went into that, and modifiers and multipliers, and it was really interesting. And in this game, or in this version of the game, the mana is just blockers. Like, it doesn't give you any more mana, because your mana is just on a set trajectory, right? Like a Hearthstone type, where you just gain a mana crystal every turn, or a mana capsule, or whatever, every turn. And these are just blockers to survive until you have maximum mana, which I think is part of the reason why it doesn't feel as good. But that's, once again, I think that that's an intentional thing. Okay. So I could play Shield Bot, do 1 damage, take no damage from Exoskeleton, 1 mana closer. I guess the question is should I just play Bomb now? I guess the answer to that question is no, because I can just sack Shield Bot, play Fish Bot, kill Sentry Drone and Insecto Drone. Okay, now we're cooking with gasoline. Because now I just play Bomb. Just play my Bomb card. Probably, yeah. You're probably the only one still watching, but that's okay. It's fine. I mean, it's fine for me. Once again, I always pretend like there's 1,000 people watching, but I want to actually check. I don't know. It's very late. It's very late in America. It's very early in Germany. I don't exactly know what time this is good for. What region is this like a prime streaming time? It's Moon Day. Yeah, it's Monday too. Yeah, I mean, literally the only reason why I streamed today was because it was like, why not? I mean, this game is like, I don't know. It just deserves every single person that can talk about it to talk about it. I have an interesting idea. What if I played Shield Latcher? I just want to see if this works. Hit Shield Latcher, give Fishbot the 1 shield. Because I'm going to get a lot of life back from that. And then this will take the damage. They both die, but now it's a 1/1. It probably doesn't matter. Yeah. This game is scary. It is. It's a horror game. Also, I'm pretty sure that this game is made by one guy. I don't. He says on his website that he doesn't do literally everything. Like he'll commission artists and stuff like that, or he'll work with artists on certain things. But he says that like a lot of the stuff he makes himself, and I just can't believe that. Like this game does not feel like it's made by a small team. It feels like it's made by a really big team, which I find super interesting. A little bit of heat should do the trick. Recycler. Ready to trade. So I get to keep one of these, and I have to give him one of mine. I actually think I do want to leap bot. What could I get? I'm not giving you away. You are crazy if you think I'm going to give you away. Maybe I give away one of my double gunners. I also think it's so interesting to look at this pile of cards. And then you get to this card and it's the only one that's animated. I'll get rid of double gunner. Watching people play is therapeutic. It helps me relax and learn. I agree. It's interesting that Twitch, like, right before Twitch became a thing, I remember people when I was a kid, we would talk about liking watching other people play games, like on the couch, right? Like if somebody had a single player game that they were playing, like me and my brother or whatever, I sometimes liked sitting there watching him play a game. Or he would like, or conversely, he'd like to do the same thing with me. And then right before Twitch became a thing, everybody was like, why would you ever watch somebody play a game? And then Twitch exploded, and everybody was like, oh, that's why. I thought that was a really interesting thing. I guess I'm in a boss fight again. Okay, well, I at least want to block some damage. When a card bearing the sigil perishes, its owner chooses a creature to gain the detonator sigil. Okay. I really need to analyze my hand better. So I can identify when I need to pull cards from this pile versus this pile. I'm not doing a very good job of that yet. But I think I want to kill Bomb Latcher right now. And if that's the case, what do I play on turn 4? I have nothing to play on turn 4. I don't remember what's in my deck that can be played on turn 4 or how many turn 3 cards I can have. That will suffice. If I had another 2 mana card, I could play 2 2s. But I don't. So instead, I'll play this here so I can negate his bomb thing. Or maybe he'll give the bomb thing to the 49er or something. I don't know. Oh, no, he just gave it to the bridge. Okay. Well, he'll lose his flyer, so that's nice. There's also other things that are interesting, like I don't get to see how much mana I have when I'm drawing. I just recently watched my sister playing Jack and Daxter again. It's wonderful to see her overcoming the challenges, but fun to do parts for her after all these years. My friends and I used to take turns playing that game, but when they got multiplayer games, they started playing those exclusively. Yeah, the great advent of the online multiplayer game. My mother cares as little possible for video games, but she watched me play all 3 Jack games. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing about watching people play games. And it's interesting for the different reasons you watch it. Like I watch a lot of Magic Twitch streams, for example. And I'm mostly watching them because I want to see play patterns that I hadn't considered, right? I want to see high-level players doing high-level plays and trying to understand why those plays are high-level versus watching somebody play a single-player game or a different type of gaming experience. It's, I don't know. What is it? Is it watching challenges be overcome? Because, like, I don't think that it's... I like watching Minecrafters build elaborate temples. Yeah, I mean, that's almost like watching a painter paint, right? But watching somebody play Jack and Daxter is an interesting concept. Like, why? What is the draw of that? Why do people like watching other people play those types of games? Like Jack and Daxter is probably just skill intensive enough that it's interesting to watch somebody overcome a challenge. And it's just like, what is it? Because I can't imagine. I'm not saying this as a knock on Jack and Daxter, but I can't imagine that like Spyro and Jack and Daxter have like groundbreaking stories. You know what I mean? I'm sure their stories are perfectly serviceable, but I don't think that they're like wow, that's a great story. You know what I mean? And so what is it about the blend of like the challenge and the story? I don't know. Because you get to see someone exploring on that person's own terms. It's not just the story, it's the world. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Don't know why I just drew that. That was probably not a good idea. But I am going to do this. And pass a turn. Because then Bomb Latcher should kill Shield Latcher. At which point I can give Sonya the extra damage. Now I'm reaching critical mass of... There's... Energy Bot is now like a dead card. So I think... Whatever, I'll just play Energy Bot to negate 1 damage. But it's a dead card. Also, Jack 2 has one of the best stories in my opinion. Best stories of what? Like, of anything ever? Or of video games? Or of platformer video games? Spyro is just sacred for me. I always feel like I am there. Every element is a fairy tale. That's interesting. So that's why. That more clearly answers the question I was asking earlier. Ha 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 of video games. Okay, I see. But that's an interesting concept, right? Once again, this is like it's one of the best stories, asterisk, 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 of video games, right? Like I don't know, it's an interesting thing. And I wonder why that is. Because if it's so affecting, why isn't it better than a novel? You know what I mean? Uh-huh. I just did not want to seem pretentious about it. Sure, I understand. That totally makes sense. I mean, I sounded a little bit pretentious then, too, when I said, you know, of what, right? That sounds pretty pretentious. And I think that's why I went back and asked the question of why, if it is that affecting, why isn't it just one of the best stories? You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought that this was going to keep its spread damage. Okay. I think I'm out on Sonya. I think Fishbot's coming down. I fish now. That's why I said it's one of the best stories. I only clarified when asked to. Yeah, right. I mean, once again, I think my question of it was like, was the pretentious one. I think I made the mistake here. Which is super interesting to me. You'll take it? Okay, cool. You'll take that when I admit to being pretentious. I think, what is the name of what is like the subtitle of my stream? Isn't it like the only man brave enough to be snooty about video game stories or something? I think that's actually literally verbatim what it says. I finally made it to a checkpoint. Fucking thank God. What a depressing abode. You have to be here to defeat the resident Uberbot. It's inspirational and it's necessary. Keep being literary. I will. I can be no other way. Puppy! Hello! Come. Yahoo! The puppy has come to visit. What? What was that? Why'd you do a little hard breathe? Okay, whoa, hi. I need to be this way as well, and it's a comfort to not to be alone. Good. Good. I'm glad that you feel a sense of camaraderie with narrative and discussion of narrative. Okay, so I'm going to block one of the tutus. Hello. Yes, yes, yes. Baloo doesn't mind when I'm pretentious. Baloo is always on my team. And now he is sleeping on my lap instantaneously. Neither does Pumpkin seem to mind me. Is Pumpkin a dog or a cat? Pekingese dog. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm just not going to play anything because I just need more mana. And everything that I would play would otherwise just get shot by the Sentry Drone immediately. See, once again, I should be paying attention to this more. Like, I drew 49er for no reason when I should have just drawn one of my empty vessels to block the skeleton. Because now I'm sitting here with not really anything to do. I mean, I could play that, but that's not nearly as effective as I think I would hope. Okay. Let's actually consider this this decision here. See, part of the problem is that I can't see my damn mana. But I have to be at 4 because I played the 3 mana creature last turn. So looking at my hand, I have no 4-cost cards. Oh, I can barely see it right here. Okay, alright. Gotcha. Consider the fishbot. Consider the following, as Bill Nye would say in his old show. So I could play 2 2/2s, 2 2-mana creatures. Which means on this turn I actually do want to try and draw something from my main deck. I'm going to play this against Insecto Drone. And I guess play Shield Launcher? Puppy, why can't you get comfy? Okay. Once again, I can't believe that I'm still... Actually, no, Shield Bot is okay, because I can just play Shield Bot, negate one of the damages. Okay. Why is that locked? I am missing some kind of key. There's like a fiber or something stuck in my mouse pad. Let's get some pointless money. That's locked. I'm assuming that means I have to go the other way. There's a lot of battles in here. Ooh, that actually seems quite good. I don't want any of these. Choose me. Never. I'm starting to wonder if 49er is just not worth... But I have to get rid of a zero damage creature. I can't have this many. This I have not found to be actually that useful. No, puppy, this was the best position you ever laid in all the time that you were laying on me. It was perfection, puppy. You're so silly. This dog is adjusting itself constantly on my lap, trying to get comfortable enough to sleep. How about that? Put the beanie on my leg as like a kind of a pillow. Is that good? Nothing in Spyro feels constructed. Everything in the sense of literal buildings, everything feels organic. That's another factor. This is kind of that thing that, I don't know, have you ever watched any videos by Mr. B-Tongue? No? You should go watch some videos by Mr. B-Tongue. He's kind of like an old school YouTuber who made some really incredible videos on game design. And he has this one about Fallout and the difference between Fallout, I think 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and why New Vegas feels so amazing and Fallout 3 doesn't. And it's a really, really great, it hits on that exact point that you just made with the Spyro feel, nothing in Spyro feels constructed. You might even recognize some of his points, because I think some of his points have carried on and have been reused many times now. Why didn't I just block 2 damage? Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? I want him on the field. Why does anyone do the things one does? That's a good question. Causal determinism is usually my answer. But what do I do now? I think it will be very... I think it behooves me. Do I have bomb? I do. I think it behooves me to try and kill some of these latchers. I will causally determine it to behoove myself. Your turn to draw. Fucking hell. Ouch. It's alright, darling. Remember the name Hobbs Mac Tank. I'll be back. Weird. Okay. I need to kill that drone. But I also need to do damage. Because I need to kind of get back my life total. I think playing Fishbot here is probably my best bet, because then I can kill Insectodrone, deal 1 damage, and tank 1 damage from Leapbot. Beautiful. Okay, now I just need to hit like something mega good off the top. But this doesn't block flyers. Maybe I can just do enough damage. 2, 3, 4. This should be enough. Yeah. I think the best stories capture a part of our timeless struggle. That's why I don't even play or read for plot so much as effect. Yeah, I think that's where you and I differ. I definitely read for plot. But I also think that plot, I don't think that there's really any difference. Like, I don't think there's really such thing as a story with effect but no plot. I think it's just that the plot is the effect. I think that they're basically the same thing. I think I enjoy games because they make the struggle feel real. Well, I mean, they definitely supplant the struggle onto the player, right? I think that's part of the reason why I think that the games are such an interesting story medium, is because through the ludic text, the narrative itself is second person, right? It's you do this, you do that. You can even see it in their scripts. They either write the player or they write you, right? You are a supernatural super soldier in supernatural space-time, and you have to save the galaxy, right? No novel does that. It never says on the back of a novel, you must read from page 1 to page 585. That's just not how it works. And so I think this is one of the things that is often misunderstood about from the people who make games, is that they are effectively operating in a second-person storytelling mode. And that's a really powerful position to be in. Like, more and more literary writers are trying to write in second person now. Junot Diaz is a great example. He wrote many stories in second person that are really affecting, right? Because they give the player a sense of responsibility for what takes place in the narrative. Even when the traditional print fiction story, obviously there's nothing that the audience could have anything to do with the narrative. Whereas in a game, that is actually the case. A player can have an effect on the narrative. And so by putting it in that second person perspective and understanding that you're in that second person perspective, what you then can do is take advantage of the idea that you can run players through a hero's journey. You don't run the player character through a hero journey, you run the player through a hero journey, because the story is in second person, right? That's why I often dream I am Spyro or Guybrush. Interesting. You are in a room, yeah. And the mechanics connect the worlds. Absolutely. And this is something that I think that we just need to understand more. Scroll. You have brought a fine quill. Please sign here that you agree to give access. Thank you. Do not forget your agreement. Okay. Any items are back online. Bot spawners offline. There it is. The Uber bot you sought. These idiotic librarians worship it as it sits here covered in filth and grime. Such nice friends in this game. Ready to clean it up? 1 second. I'm gonna do a smoke. The smoking is complete. Oh look, it's boss time. Unpacking archivist.zip. Applying personality matrices. Cleaning up some temp files. Okay, here we go. Ah, greetings. If you had not gleaned it from the title of my zip file, I am the archivist. I eagerly await the opportunity to explore your hard drive. Files and directories are my specialty, you see. Is that music coming from this? No. I can't believe that this game isn't over. I thought this game was like 5 hours long. I've been playing for almost 12. When a card bearing the sigil perishes, select a file, place damage on the scales according to the file size. Well, I'm not going to survive this. I can already tell you right now, there's not a chance. I think the game plan here is to just draw empty vessels and try and stave off as much of the damage as possible. Not good, John. It's not the draw I was hoping for, to be honest. Yeah. I love long games too. Well, not overly long, but I also don't like overly long stories either. Like if you read my novel, this is something that Dave said that was interesting about it, was that the novel, while I mean it's a 90,000 word novel, but it does not read that like that. It reads very fast, and I did that like there's nothing more intentional in my entire life than making that novel read quickly. It's like what I've been training to do since I was in high school, was figure out how to write stories that read quickly. Because it's my favorite. I love flying through a story. I like I don't mind if the story is long, but I want to fly through it. You know what I mean? Like go through it as fast as possible with almost no downtime. And that's what that is my novel. There is no downtime. There's never a moment where it's slow. It's always going. My point, though, was that my favorite stories always explore an idea that seems to be a timeless problem. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think that, I mean, stories kind of just are always doing that, right? Like you can always boil down a problem to the timeless version of that problem. Like there's a famous story in the New Yorker about a girl with Tinder, right? And she's struggling with a Tinder concept. But really, the story is just a girl struggling with love. And that's a timeless problem. I sometimes burn through stories, but I prefer things to stand still a bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably due to like the difference in just our taste in general, right? Like I still can't get behind anime as much as I respect what they're doing, and as much as I love the art behind it. I cannot stand episodes where there's no point. I'm like, I mean, it is, and you wouldn't view it as no point. You would view it as, well, we're basking in the world and we're examining the things around us, and like that's how you would view it. But for me, it's like, nothing's happening. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just kind of a difference of opinion. I don't think either one is wrong necessarily. But I think that this is actually the difference in tastes. Like a lot of people talk about difference in tastes as like, well, I really like action movies. because there's a lot of explosions, and it's like, I don't think that's really why you like action movies. That's also what makes Spyro perfect for me. I don't want it to end, and it goes on as long as it can before it does. Interesting. Okay. I'm wondering if I just play Empty Vessel, block one of the damages, and then play bombs. I seriously cannot express to you how cohesive this game feels. I need to give him access to my hard drive, I guess. Grant Inscryption.exe permission to access your hard drive. Both of them are yes, no matter what I choose. But it's hard to... It does look cohesive, but it's hard to... Like, I have to go back and start the game over again to show you why. I enjoy finishing a book, but I lament that it is over. That's the sign of a really well-told story. Because really what you're sad about is almost like that you've lost friends. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten to the end of a book and I've been incredibly sad. I've also ended stories early because I liked where I could leave them off. But like, watching your friends die is not fun, even if they're fictional friends. I guess I'll give it permission to access my hard drive. Here comes your actual files. I hope no one is watching. Now, do recommend an exemplary file to me, and do take into account its size, its magnitude, its bulk. This is actually my drive? This is actually my hard drive. Fuck. This is insanity. Well, I want to give him like a huge file just to see what it does. This is basically what Doki Doki did. I don't even know what like a gigantic... Oh, wow. It even tells me the size of my files. That's so fascinating. I want to give him like at least a 1 gigabyte file. Riot Games. Maybe I could give him my novel. I wish I could go to my desktop. Oh, I can't go to my documents? That's weird. Let's give him League of Legends. Whatever, I'm gonna get over this. It appears to weigh about 2 damage. I bet everything was going to weigh about 2 damage, to be honest. Lol. Yeah, I definitely use Pro Tools. I love Pro Tools. I took advantage of that when I was in college. Like, when you're in college, you can get a you can get a perpetual license, like a lifetime license, for like $300 or something. And I was like, yep. Once I learned how to use it, because I took a class in audio production, because I had to make like narrative stuff for my MFA, and I got access to Pro Tools, and I was like, this is the best program I've ever used for audio development, so I'm going to buy it now. Awesome. It is awesome. Pro Tools is amazing. I mean, do you have an MFA, Rinzai? You should highly consider applying to Southern Illinois University. They can get you access to shit that you wouldn't even fucking dream that you could get access to. And you get to learn classical fiction structure, and you get to make games. I'll consider it. You should consider it. I mean, you have to live in Southern Illinois for 3 years, but like the stuff that you get access to is crazy. And you get to get a master's degree in fiction writing, but by making games, right? You get paid to do that for 3 years. What do you think of this remark? I used to think games would be a way to make stories go on forever, but I've learned to put up with endings, largely thanks to Yoko Taro and Kikiyama. Let me answer that question in 1 second. I gotta text my wife. Okay, sent the text messages to my wife. What do you think of this remark? I used to think that games would be a way to make stories go on forever, but I've learned to put up with endings largely thanks to Yoko Taro and Kikiyama. Is that you, or is this like a quote that you're using? That's my first question. The second question is, I don't know who Kikiyama is. You? Okay. And third, above, meaning Yuminiki? Yuminiki, okay. Third, make stories go on forever, but I've learned to put up with endings largely thanks to... Yeah. I mean, it's a perfectly serviceable statement. Are you trying to come up with like an aphorism or something? I have the long dark on this? Oh, let's give him Disco Elysium. How come nothing is like a gigabyte? Can I give you a folder? Yeah, let's give him shared assets. I'm gonna take just like so much fucking damage. I'm wondering about your feeling toward endings. It's a good question. I think... Would you want them to go on forever? No. Definitely not. No, I think every story has an ending. It's just a matter of how do you the thing that I want about stories is I want the story to end at the time that it's supposed to end. No earlier, no sooner. Right? So like one of the things I really liked Riot. The new Riot series, Arcane. I really liked it. I thought it was super well written. I thought the story was great. The ending was not the right time. I felt like the ending was the weakest part of that show. As like an artifact. Now I know that they're already working on season 2, but if you're going to take Arcane as a singular narrative experience, that was not the right ending. It needed to end either earlier or later. It was not in that moment though. That was the worst ending it could have, timing wise. And because it was simultaneously too incomplete and it was too, and it was not complete enough. It was too incomplete for a narrative that should have ended like more conclusively, and it was not conclusive enough to be, or it was not inconclusive enough to be somewhat of a cliffhanger, if that makes sense. Like, it was a very weak cliffhanger. Okay, I just gotta play 2 things. Like, literally just to block damage. It's not what I wanted to do, but I really, really, really need to play a card. Ooh. We're basically back at parity now, which is kind of frustrating. Speaking of endings, I'm getting sleepy, but I'll finish this coffee first. Yeah, that's fine. I'm about to end the stream anyway. I've got to, like, do some other things with my day. I just was thinking I would get to the end of this boss fight. Dragon Age Origins. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember. Neopol? What is that? Oh, it's a font thing. It's funny. I'm like looking through all these files that I have forgotten about. Recovery? Won't let me. Hyperphilsis. My word, that file it is. I may say it is colossal. Bravo. Choose a file that is dearest to your heart and one that shows age. I want to give him my damn book. Speaking of endings, oh yeah, I like using Fruity Loop Studio. I've never actually used that program before, but I've heard good things about it. It just seems like it's more for like live stuff, or either live stuff or it's, or no, that's Ableton Live. Fruity Loop Studio is kind of like it's almost like the Microsoft version of GarageBand. Am I correct in that? It's smooth to use. I really like Audacity too. I mean, that's how I taught myself audio, was Audacity. Even though it's a destructive editor, I really like, if you just need to make a quick thing, it's great for that. It's like, I need to just make a thing that's like a weird glitch effect. Perfect, you know? Grab BFXR. Yeah, use Audacity for recording, yeah. I wish I could give him my book so much. But I can't. Like, I won't let me get into my documents. Let's see. What is Boot? Boot is the name of my main character. in my book. But I make sounds for all my games and it's fun. Yeah, I do too. I mean, the games that I worked on with Two Links, I did almost all the sound. I really like it. I really like doing that. Old flash drive. Hey, there it is. Salt Lake City. Terrarium. This is the story that completely changed my trajectory as a writer. Terrarium. That's Terrarium sub, meaning submission. This is probably the one that got rejected from the magazine of science fiction and fantasy. Ludmila? No, that's the name of my second main character in Salt Lake City. But Eva, my wife, named Ludmila. Now let us place that file in a card. You didn't choose a file that was too dear, did you? For if this card dies, I will delete the file from your disk. Are you fucking serious? I'm going to be pissed if you actually do that. Please do not tempt me. I am completely serious. Shall we see what that looks like? Marvelous. This file is not short-lived. A file this mature is easily a 3-3. You better not fucking delete this file. Eva is more German, Ludmila is more Russian. That makes sense, indeed. Okay, I am not going to lose this file because this is actually my short story. This game is just out of fucking control. This is so crazy. It just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. God damn, finally. Good fuck. I thought I had you. Oh well. You've made a few correct deck building decisions, I guess, and you're lucky. He always says that. Did you enjoy the sounds of my games? I did indeed. Yeah, I do remember that. It's about to get less useless. Your pick will be installed on every card. Jump block. Negate 1 damage. Deal 1 damage back. That seems... Wow, I'm glad I didn't lose my like formative short story that led ultimately to me writing my master's thesis and first complete actual novel that is available to read on Wattpad for free. But I am going to end the stream here because I've got to do something else with my day. But this has been just a blast. I can't believe this game exists. Once again, it's like Daniel Mullins reached into my mind and he, with a scoop, just went and pulled out all the things that I'm interested in and put them in a game. For free? Yeah, it's free. It's free on Wattpad. Yeah, I'm not going to charge for it. I don't see much of a point. Maybe if I end up finishing the game, like the companion game that goes along with it, I'll charge like $2 for the game and the novel together on itch. And I'll make the novel actually look nice and not just like a text file. But yeah. As of now, it's just free on Wattpad. And you can ask Dave. It's a fast read. It's a fast 90,000 words. But yeah, I'm going to end now. So thank you for joining me in this wonderful journey of one of the craziest and most interesting games I've ever played in my life. And I hope you have a wonderful day / evening / morning / whatever. Time is an illusion when you're in Germany. in maybe other places too. Thanks for stopping by, Rinzai. That was fun. And okay. Goodbye now.